Right now, there is fear from some that kids in foster care could end up in juvenile detention even without charges.
Lawmakers are pushing forward legislation as DCS says there are safety concerns with some of the children they watch over. Jared Austin joins us in the studio tonight. Jared, a big concern is some of these kids could just be accused, not convicted of these crimes.
Yeah, the worry is it may just be allegations the child is being violent that could get them inside these juvenile detention centers. Now, DCS says this will only affect a small group of violent children, but those against it say the bill isn't clear enough. It's a term raising concerns for children in Tennessee's foster system, a child in need of heightened supervision. Spike Cohen with You Are the Power says the language is too vague.
So there's just way too much weasel wording in here.
This phrase means any child showing or threatening violent behavior, regardless of any charges being filed, can wind up in a juvenile detention center. Cohen, who works to protect people from government abuse, worries this will put kids behind bars without a fair process.
It lists if the child is incompetent to stand trial. Well, if it's a 7 or an 8-year-old, of course they're incompetent to stand trial.
The Department of Children's Services answering questions before the Senate Judiciary Committee, saying there will be due process for these children. They add more protections are needed for workers who are assaulted by kids.
We have many assaults in our facilities, and oftentimes law enforcement just do not bring charges on those assaults. And so this provides an avenue for the court to address those situations.
If this passes, a child could face an additional 6 months in DCS care, which DCS says has to be approved by the courts.
This, again, being told to the kids before they are being committed to the department, being made aware of this possible circumstance is to deter this behavior.
But an attorney with the Youth Law Center has concerns about due process. How would the assaults be reported, and would there be enough investigating to see if it's true?
How are we proving that all of those elements are made, and how is this coming before the court?
There's also fear there could be an abuse of power keeping some kids in treatment longer than necessary. Senator Paige Wally, who's pushing this bill forward, says they have support from juvenile judges.
It just is another tiny step forward. This isn't a solution.
Now, a change our amendment lawmakers did add today is creating an 11-person task force to develop recommendations and improve DCS care and case management, look at treatment and placement options, and court processes, guys.
Now, Jared, tell us about the concerns about the task force. What's that about?
Yeah, Youth Law Center doesn't know if this task force can actually figure all of this out. They fear they won't be able to come up with a plan to help out the kids who need it.
All right, Jared, thanks.